Hey, it's Sam, and I'm talking about November 2021. We have some very important shifts happening and astrological events. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel, like and share this as well. And you also are invited to get my end of the year 2021 free web class. So let's do it. First, we have Mars combust all month. Now, Mars has been combust since the end of the summer. We shouldn't forget it. These are important transits and aspects that are still happening, which means Mars is close to the Sun pretty much the whole month within 17 degrees. Now it's in the sign of Libra also, and this shows where there can be some combustion and some combustible energy in your relationships. You may be frustrated and taking it out on others a little bit and whatnot, and so you want to be careful with that aspect because, again, we're always trying to fight to improve the things we want to change, but we need to be careful. In particular, from November 6th until about the 13th, Mars and Mercury are going to be very close to each other in Libra. Again, Mercury is the speaker, the communicator. So from November 6th to November 13th, especially, they're going to be very close to each other with a combust Mars joined Mercury in Libra. Again, Libra is a sign of relationships and compromises. You need to be careful of getting into contentious battles, online battles and wars, or with people in real time as well. Channel that aggression into things that are, that are intellectual, that, where you want to get fired up about your ideas, but not at other people. For example, writing, creativity, other kinds of things that you're passionate about. Also, physical exercise, playing sports, doing things like that, physical activities, because that combust Mars wants a release. Something else that's important in November 2021, Venus will be in Sagittarius pretty much the whole month. Now, Venus in Sagittarius is quite devotional, right? Venus is related to the goddess energy, to finding beauty, joy, happiness. Venus is very much in the world, though, the world of the senses, the world of other people. Sagittarius is kind of otherworldly a little bit, related to teachings and gurus. So again, it means where we can find that beauty, joy, and happiness in things that are inspirational and that take us beyond just the mundane. However, we may also feel a little bit disappointed with the people in our life or with our relationship partners. We might project this idea, oh, I thought you were going to be this, but it's actually this. That combined with that Mars and Libra could show a kind of, double whammy, as people sometimes say, with our romantic relationships. But again, in the positive sense, Venus in Sagittarius is very good for finding the beauty and joy in your teachings, your teachers, and that especially includes devotional practices and things like that. Then around the middle of the month, we have the Sun moving into Scorpio on November 16th, and it's going to be joined to Ketu, the South Node. This is quite powerful. The Sun is really strong in Scorpio because Scorpio is where we can tend to be, feel the kind of dark and vulnerable side of our psyche that can lead to jealousy and fearful projections, but it can also lead us to really want to conquer and overcome and strengthen those vulnerabilities. So the Sun is really powerful there because the Sun is about shining light into the dark corners of our life, and in Scorpio it's in our psyche, so to speak. Now, Ketu, the South Node, has been there since September of last year. So Ketu has been really powerful in Scorpio. So a lot of those Scorpio areas of our life have really improved since then. So again, this Ketu Sun conjunction in Scorpio is going to be really powerful starting in the middle of November, like November 16th. And speaking of that, a couple days afterwards, we're going to have the lunar eclipse in Taurus. Now, of course, when the Sun joins one of the nodes, that's when we have the eclipse that month. So on November 18th and into the 19th, depending on where you are, we have the lunar eclipse in Taurus, and it's in Kritikka nakshatra. Kritikka is the cutter. And so this is where we can really cut through our mental and emotional illusions and attachments. It's that type of exaltation with our heart, because again, we tend to identify with our emotions and we don't tend to look at them with discrimination and with clarity, but the moon is exalted in Taurus and exalted in this section called Kritikka. And so the lunar eclipse on November 18th even though lunar eclipses can be tough because we're very emotionally sort of triggered and drawn, it's an exalted moon, and it's in its highest exalted place, which is in Kritikka nakshatra. So again, this is really a time to evaluate things like your emotional attachments, even things like greed and money, and how much you're so emotionally invested in all of the things of this world. You know, the reason we suffer mentally and emotionally is because we're attached to things and people in this world. So the moon is exalted in Taurus because we feel those connections and they feel good to us, but then Kritikka nakshatra is where we also have discrimination about those things. We can enjoy life, and we're meant to enjoy life, but we don't possess or own any of this. This belongs to the Divine Mother, including your body and your mind and everything. We have to give it all up eventually. So this kind of discrimination is hard to come by when we're living in a body with all these emotions. But notice on November 18th or into the 19th, again, depending on where you live, how much revelation will be around those themes that I just mentioned. Then we have a big shift of Jupiter going back into Aquarius. Jupiter went back into Capricorn a couple months ago. It re-enters Aquarius, which is going to take it out of its debilitation sign and bring it into a more social, more universal context. So Jupiter in Aquarius is analogous to how we felt, let's say, in April of 2021. April of this year, Jupiter went in the first time, which was like the spring here in the Northern Hemisphere, and there was a sense of, okay, we're getting back to life, we're getting back to things, we're all out again. So again, it's been a little difficult since then when Jupiter went back into Capricorn, but he goes back into Aquarius again. So I see this as something where we can really come together, find more common ground around what unites us, if we're looking to do that. It also may show where you get all fired up about your own philosophies and principles to try to stand out in the crowd. So there's definitely a potential for fanaticism and other things like that. But it'll at least feel good to have the shift out of Capricorn, where we've been feeling pretty pressured around our beliefs and maybe even lacking some hope. And then the final big shift is when Mars goes into Scorpio November 22nd, and Mars will be there till pretty much the end of the year. Mars is the ruler of Scorpio, so of course having Mars in his own sign with Ketu, of course, will again really strengthen these Scorpio tendencies. So it's a big month for people who have planets in Scorpio, and for all of us, even if we don't have planets there, to really strengthen that Scorpio part of our life. Because again, all of the signs are within each of us. We all live these moments, and as the planets move through the sky, certain aspects of our psyche get awakened. And so again, November 22nd till pretty much the end of the year, Mars is in Scorpio, where we can have the discipline, the self-mastery, the control in a good way over our vulnerability. So rather than seek out others to attack because we feel vulnerable or we feel victimized, we can be empowered, we can be courageous, and we can be strong ourselves. And that's what Mars is trying to do, that's what Scorpio is trying to do, and that's also what Ketu is trying to do. So there you have it, November 2021 in less than 10 minutes. Again, go ahead and register for the end of the year 2021 web class. It's free. Also, subscribe and like and share this video if you thought it was helpful.